Coming to you from Forager Brewery in Rochester, our town. Hello and welcome to Our Town, the show about Rochester. I'm Eric Olson. Well, the Rochester Community and Technical College, RCTC, is going through a transition. You no doubt know about this. But here to tell us more about her new role is the new interim president, Dr. Mary Davenport. And Doctor, welcome.
Thank you.
Honored to have you here on Our Town. And we should say, for truth in labeling, you're also a member of the KSMQ board. So
yes, I am.
You keep good company.
I do.
You know, pretty much.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
In any case, congratulations on your appointment. Come to RCTC from Riverland Community College. Tell us a little bit about this transition and what you hope to accomplish in the near term.
Sure. Well, first, maybe a shout out to my colleagues at Riverland. It's a terrific school, just like RCTC. I'm excited to begin at RCTC, and there's a lot to be done in terms of keeping up with the city of Rochester and making sure that we meet their workforce needs.
Boy, and that you've done a lot of that at Riverland, emphasizing the workforce, working with employers and connecting your students to those employers. You also have a little fence mending to do. People read the newspapers. There was a little bit of turmoil, upheaval with predecessor, questions about funding, questions about overspending, decisions made, whatever. It caused a big dust up, you know. So how do you do that? How do you get back into the groove at RCTC?
It's all about looking toward the future and forward and anticipating what the region and the Rochester area need. We have a great set of really committed faculty and staff, and students are our focus, and so that's what we really need to do and keep doing, because RCTC has always been focused on student success, and that really is at the heart of what we're all about.
Are there new programs that you might institute, or it's too early to tell, I suppose? You've just started your two-year term.
I have a lot to learn, and I'm getting ramped up on that. But we do have programs that serve, of course, Mayo. We're looking at programs in the trades area. As a city grows, we need to make sure the services are there to support the infrastructure of the city. We're looking at growth and maybe some new programming in the hospitality sector, because we have a lot of vibrant restaurants, like this one, and hotels in the area, and it's growing, and so we want to make sure that we really are partners with the city and the business community in making sure that the workforce is there when they need it.
Boy, that's really good, insightful thinking about hospitality, because you're right. How many new hotels are going up right now, and with the Destination Medical Center project, more and more people are going to be visiting. Right. So those jobs are going to be there. Right. If people are watching, and maybe like me, we went to post-secondary education a long, long time ago, it has changed so much, especially in the community colleges. The relationship, the quick turnaround between learning and then getting a job. It's more about learning how to learn. I'm not an expert, but talk about that, how that timeline has changed.
One of the wonderful aspects of RCTC is that it's both workforce focused and job training, as well as humanities, liberal arts, and culture. So we offer programs that, like I mentioned, attend to the workforce needs, but also transfer to Winona State University or University of Minnesota Rochester to complete baccalaureate degrees. So there's this balance that we want to maintain between the workforce and the cultural, and then they're really intertwined. When you look at Rochester as one of the most livable cities in the country, how do you bring those together so that people's quality of life really meets their expectations?
Here's something we struggle with in television, is delivering the content, our programming, and how to do it with this generation, the millennials, that they want it now. They want what they want and now. So we have to try to deliver our programs best we can on mobile devices or right now, just-in-time content. Is that also the case in the education world, you know, the online presence?
Indeed it is, and we're looking at how do we maybe increase our online presence? How do we use social media in a learning environment? Because that's becoming, the students that are coming to us fresh from K-12, they're using a lot of technology in the classroom. So how do our instructors embrace that? And they're doing a lot of that right now, but we have to keep on top of that and make it really an interactive, engaged classroom. And like KSMQ, we need to continue to be relevant to our community and the community we serve. So we're always looking and anticipating what's next and how do we meet the needs so that we're ready when student learning arrives or credit for prior learning. RCTC is big in recognizing the learning experience of, say, older adults that they bring into the college so they don't have to repeat courses or repeat experiences that maybe they're already really skilled at.
You've got a good go on it already. Thanks so much, Interim President Dr. Mary Davenport. Really wonderful to have you here. Good luck.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations.
Clements Subaru proudly partners with award-winning KSMQ Public Television. Clements Subaru of Rochester. Clements' clear value promise is to make buying a car fast, fair, and simple. The University of Minnesota Rochester, an undergraduate health sciences university offering education designed to change tomorrow's healthcare. University of Minnesota Rochester, always in the heart of our community. The Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
And the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
Hey, stick around. We have more coming up on Our Town, the show about Rochester. Jennifer Rogers checks out the Med City Freeze, a new member of the Amateur Football League in our area. Courtney Lawson, Executive Director of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is here to talk about employment options and mental health. Up next, Our Town Culture drops in on a jazz jam at Mayo Civic Center.
I'm John Sievers from the Deceivers, and I'm with you here at the Rochester Civic Theater, getting ready for a jazz jam. Do these on Sundays. They're a great time. They're from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Jazz Jam's an event here at the Rochester Civic Theater that's been going on for about 3 years. It's always kind of an interesting event. We've got the Deceivers backing you up, and then people sit in on a song or two. It's kind of been growing all this time. It's really exciting to have it happen in here. We get everything from Dixieland music to bebop to vocal to swing. So all kinds of music, and it's always a good time. So at a typical jazz jam, we start right off the bat, and people sign up on a sign-up sheet, and usually people do about 2 songs in a row, and we don't stop from the beginning until the end. So we always got some music going on. We're getting the next 2 folks up on the stage ready to play, and they kind of indicate what song they're going to do, and then we play from a fake book, so we're able to play along with them. And it's just an interesting experience because you never know how things are going to turn out, and it's always exciting. Sometimes we'll get 3 or 4 different people sitting in. Sometimes the Deceivers will be off the stage entirely because we've got somebody sitting in on bass and on drums and on piano. So it's always a exciting adventure, and it's definitely something that you should check out for sure. I'm the trombonist with the Deceivers, and we've been around town in the Rochester area for about 10 years or so. We put a CD out last spring that's called Trombots and Mermaids, which is available for sale now, so we hope you check that one out. And our music, obviously, since I'm a trombone player, features trombone, Eric Stroud-Miller on the keys, Kurt Saville on the drums, and Steve Sawyer on the bass, and they're always doing a great job, so it's always a wide variety of music. And then we also have some of our original tunes. One of my favorites is a tune I wrote for my wife. It's called Waltz for Beth, and we've got some other good original tunes that I enjoy playing, like It's All Downhill and The Mermaid Shuffle. So it's something I really love, and it's an awesome opportunity to play with the jazz group. So we hope that you come out and check out the Deceivers somewhere soon. Sometimes we're a duo, sometimes we're a trio, sometimes we're a quartet, but we're always up for having a good time and enjoying some jazz music. So come on out and see us. So there's an exciting event coming up on July 24th. It's going to be the first annual Rochester City Jazz Festival, and the Deceivers have kind of partnered with the Rochester Civic Theater and then also with the Rochester Downtown Alliance, who gave us a generous grant for this. And it's going to be a half-day festival. We're going to have two awesome headliners coming from the cities. We're going to have Group 47 with Steve Kenny, then we're going to have the Atlantis Quartet, and it's going to be an awesome event. We're also going to start it off with a jazz jam at the beginning of the event, so that Rochester musicians from itty-bitty performers to older performers will have a chance to jump up with the Deceivers and play along with us. The event is a ticketed event, and you're really getting a steal on this. It's $10 to get a ticket for the event, so come on out and support live jazz in Rochester. We hope we see you on July 24th, and it starts at noon.
For more information about this story and other Our Town features, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at KSMQ #OurTown, or ksmq.org/OurTown.
We grow weak, that's what we're told we need. We can't afford it now, we got our heads to feed. They gotta
It's not too late to enjoy the last days of Rochester Fest. As a great end cap to the celebration, head out to the History Center of Olmsted County's Schmidt Field to catch a ball game circa 1860. For 2 bits, that's 25 cents, you can watch the Hens versus the Chicks, followed by the Roosters versus the Roadrunners playing in replica uniforms. Games start at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. Olmsted County Public Health Services, Mayo Clinic, and Olmsted Medical Center are working on updating the Community Health Needs Assessment, and they're looking for input. They are inviting you to share your top health priorities at a session on Thursday, June 30th at 7 p.m. at the Rochester Public Library. If you can't make it that night, you can fill out a survey to help them capture as much information as possible about the health priorities important to Rochester and Olmsted County residents. For more information, you can call Megan Ridler, 328-7424, 328-7424. For those of you looking for a little more information on each Destination Medical Center subdistrict, City of Rochester recently posted a district design guideline document on their website. The document provides a nice overview with details of each subdistrict. Check it out at the city's website, rochestermn.gov. City of Rochester is also undertaking a pesticide-free parks program pilot project. Those all started with the letter P. I like that. 6 neighborhood parks will be managed without the use of registered pesticides. They include South Point Park, Joyce Park, Diamond Ridge, Harvest View, Viking, and Northern Heights parks. Neighborhood associations or other designated volunteer organizations may request additional parks be added to the list and have to be accompanied by a commitment by volunteers to help with manual pest and weed control. All right, stay with us. Jennifer Rogers is up next. This week she is checking out the Med City Freeze on Our Town Walkabout.
Except you're cracking down. Red 9. Red 9. Okay, so I have a question.
Hi guys, I am here with Storm SOTO with Mad City Freeze, Freeze football, right?
Freeze football.
Freeze football.
What we are is we're an amateur 9-man football team, full contact. We play right here in Rochester.
All right, Storm, so it seems like you guys have so much fun here. It's like big smiles across your face, and you guys are just like free. I don't hear like the coaches yelling and spitting and all of that. So, I mean, tell me, like, is it a fun experience or atmosphere for you guys?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no, when it comes down to game day, it's all about work, you know. But it's football. You're supposed to have fun. If you're not having fun, if you're not stimulating your mind, you know, working, if it's not fun for you, then I don't think there's any reason for you to be out here. But you know, this is an amateur status. These guys do pay to play. So it's one of those things. We got to keep it light. We got to keep it entertaining. We got to have fun. You know, we're all adults. We have, you know, lives outside of this, but we want to keep it fun. You know, it's good. It's a good reason for us to come out on Saturdays and during the week to practice. So it's a good time.
Cool. Has anybody called you Mr. Freeze?
Mr. Freeze? No, I haven't gotten that one yet. That's the one I haven't gotten. So I think our ultimate goal is to win the national championship. I think, you know, we have a great group of guys. We have a great group of leaders, and I think we all expect or have the goal or the expectation to get out to Oregon and bring that to the city of Rochester. I think that's something that we're really looking forward to.
Okay, good. Well, I hope that works out for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Storm, for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. And I am Jennifer Rogers, your host with Our Town Walkabout. Sorry, I almost fell over his feet.
We are right here at Forager's Brewery and Restaurant. This is Our Town, and we're getting ready to talk with Courtney Lawson from the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Stick around.
Our past, remembering what made us who we are today. Brought to you by the History Center of Olmsted County.
As a source of energy, economy, recreation, and destruction, perhaps no element to shape Rochester more than the Zumbro River. Indeed, the river is responsible for the city's name. When Rochester's founder, George Head, saw the falls here in 1854, it reminded him of Rochester, New York. The first Europeans to explore the river were French voyagers who named it Rivière des Embarras, now anglicized to Zumbro. Settlers harnessed the river's flow and several falls to power their mills, including Rochester City Mills. Besides power, the river provided ice for refrigeration and gold, which was discovered in 1856. In 1917, Rochester built the Zumbro Lake Dam, providing its citizens with both municipal electric power and a recreation spot. Many more parks have been placed along the Zumbro, including Mayo Park, Silver Lake Park, and Soldiers Field. And like any other river, the Zumbro is prone to flooding. Unquestionably, life in Rochester and the flow of the Zumbro are inextricably linked.
I got a feeling there's a party tonight. I got a feeling there's a party tonight. I got a feeling there's a party.
And welcome back. Courtney Lawson from NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, is here. Welcome.
Thank you.
You represent southeastern Minnesota, educating folks on mental illness, mental health issues.
Yes.
And you're doing an upcoming event, seminar. Talk about it a little bit. What are you doing?
So next week I am presenting to the Southern Minnesota Disability Employment Network on mental health in the workplace and talking about what employers need to do from a legal perspective, but also what it means to their bottom lines, to integrate people living with mental illness, how to do accommodations for those folks, and really what they can add to the workforce.
And something I didn't know, that just talking here, the difference between mental health and mental illness, there's more than just the words that are different. It means something.
Yes. So one, I think a big misunderstanding that contributes to stigma is that mental illness and health is on this continuum, where on one side there's serious mental illness and on the other side there's mental health. But we all have some degree of mental health at any given time. It's our social, psychological, and emotional well-being. And so when we think about any of us having poor to optimal mental health at any time, and then intersecting that, somebody could have a diagnosed mental illness or no diagnosed mental illness, which is actually presenting with the clinical signs. And I think what that distinction does is it tells us that someone living with a diagnosed mental illness can still have optimal mental health. And on the flip side, someone without a mental illness can have poor mental health. And so I think it's really important to think about it in terms of mental health as something that we all have, just like we all have some degree of physical health at any given time.
And if I'm an employer, okay, and somebody breaks their arm, you know, I get that they have to get better and or if they have a cold, you can hear them. Not so all the time with mental.
It's invisible. It's an invisible illness. And another thing that we call it is a casserole illness.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, you know, if somebody's sick and they're in the hospital and they get out of the hospital and people want to bring them meals and they want to bring them casseroles and all this great stuff. But when somebody is hospitalized because of their mental illness or poor mental health, we don't talk about it. We avoid it. And I think that happens a lot in the workplace too.
And so for an employer, they probably they don't know what to do themselves, which is the reason you're putting this workshop together.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think throughout the workshop, one of the things that I'll be sharing is doing a case study that's actually my personal journey. I'm a person that lives with bipolar disorder, and how that has played out in my employment and accommodations and what that means to me now that I've been in places where employers have really worked with me, I think can help illustrate some of those points.
Oh, wonderful. So it's a little bit about the legalities, what you've learned, your expertise, but also a personal journey that you're still on.
Exactly. And because there are many important things that employers must do, but many employers have people within their staff that know those things inside and out. So I will touch on those, but also use a story to illustrate the point. And that's really a big piece of what NAMI does, is to share those stories of people's personal experiences, because we know through research that story sharing and contact with people living with mental illness is the #1 way to reduce stigma. When we reduce stigma, more people talk about it. When more people talk about it, they get help when they need to, and they get the support that's needed as well.
Great conversation here with Courtney Lawson of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. She has an event coming up next week. Is this for owners of businesses, or who do you want to come to this?
You know, I think that it's applicable to anyone. Definitely people that are in leadership roles, because they can create policies that are more inclusive of not only people living with mental illness, but people with disabilities, other disabilities as well. But I also think that as just a general employee or as a supervisor, it's really important information too, because at any given time, we're surrounded by people who are affected by mental illness. So 1 in 4 people will experience a diagnosable mental illness in their lifetime. And I always think about, they have friends and family members and coworkers and all these people with whom they interact that may not know, but they're interacting with them all the time. So I think it's important too, from the perspective of a coworker or supervisor, to know the information, and also to know, you know, what are some things that may indicate that someone is struggling, and how can I reach out, and what are some strategies for that?
Yeah, reaching out, and that's okay to do that, you know. Am I doing the right thing? It's just as much of a stigma. The person doesn't want to do the wrong thing when talking with somebody.
And it often leads us to just avoiding the conversation and being silent. And really one of the most effective things we can say is just noticing someone doesn't seem like themselves, and just observing, and hey, you don't seem like yourself lately, is something going on? Just a simple question like that, it shows that, oh, I'm paying attention to you and I care about your well-being. and it can really open up an important conversation.
This is through, the event is, do people go to the chamber to learn about how to go to this seminar?
Yes, the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce has registration information, and the Southern Minnesota Disability Employment Network does these, they meet quarterly, and so they explore a number of different topics to really maximize career success in general for people with employment barriers.
And there's a Minnesota connection. Many lawmakers have played a role in eliminating a little bit of the stigma. So far to go, so much more to do, but I think of Representative Jim Ramstad, who's really opened up with his Recovery Works organization in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. You're doing great work too, just by coming on and talking about it. That's new, kind of, you know, for people to talk about it.
Absolutely, and I think it's stressful when you first start talking about it and talking about experience. And we do a class where we talk about the positive and negative aspects of disclosing, whether in public, to family, to an employer, whatever that looks like. And there are a lot of barriers to disclosing, and it can be really difficult for people, and some people never do it. But it's liberating too.
That's wonderful. Thank you for having the courage to share your story and for all your service work. And contact the chamber if you want that information. Courtney Lawson, thank you. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Our Town. See you next time.